everybody who has emailed or sent cards and condolences and things. I really appreciate that. And second, I want to just share a little bit my reflection on that, because when somebody dies, when somebody's alive, the body and the mind are conjoined, and when they die, they separate and they each have their own continuity. Yeah. So my dad's body is now, in a coffin in Southern California, decaying, and his mind stream has gone on. Yeah. So at this time, my dad does not exist. Okay. But the continuity of my dad exists. Okay, so there's a continuity. It's not that death is just like total nothingness. Yeah? But what we label the continuity of my dad is the continuity of his mind. It's labeled independence upon the basis of the continuity of his mind and whatever Bardo body he has at the moment, or if he's been reborn, whatever new rebirth maturation body he has. Okay? So, it's like he's not there. So then it kind of makes you ask, well, what did you think was there to start with? Yeah, when he was alive, exactly who was there? Now, again, there was a body and there was a mind. Yeah. Were either the body or the mind the person who was my dad? Yeah. And especially, when you look in the obituary and it shows the pictures of him throughout his life, then actually there's this really adorable picture that didn't get put on there of him when he must have been maybe 3 or 4 years old with a Buster Brown haircut. And so you have that person, and then the person in high school who was in the marching band, and the person who became a dentist, and the person who was the golfer, and then the person who was retired, and then the person who had dementia. And, which one of those was my dad? Yeah. And which body was, of all those different times during the life, which body was the body of my dad? Okay. And of all those different mind moments that happened at all those different times throughout his life, which mind moment was my dad? Or which mental state was my dad? So when you look, it's like, well, who was actually there to start with, and who actually died? Because usually when we say, like so-and-so died, we have this idea of an inherently existent person who existed, and then that inherently existent person died. But if there was no inherently existent person, even while they were alive, then certainly there wasn't one during the death process or afterwards. So then you have to say, well, according to my grasping mind and the way I usually see things, who actually died? And you can't pinpoint anybody, because there wasn't anybody there to start with. There was the appearance of a person. Yeah? There was a person that was merely labeled independence upon the body and mind, and although it had the same label, pretty much throughout the life, with his name. Although it's interesting, my dad did change his name at one point, so not even the name was the same. Yeah. Then, Yeah, which one exactly was him? And certainly he wasn't my dad before I was conceived. Yeah, because a father doesn't exist before there's kids. Yeah. So it's just quite interesting, to look at, again, our usual conceptions and how we hold things to exist, and what is actually there when we do even a little bit of analysis or questioning. And again, we find that there's disparity between the two. What our ordinary ignorant mind is sure is there kind of seems to evaporate. Not kind of seems, it does. Because it was never there to start with. Yeah, so it's not like there was a truly existent Bernie Green and then you do some analysis and he vanishes. There never was that. Mm-hmm. And yet, there's a continuity that goes on. Although nothing in that continuity is the same as the exact mind moments or moments of body when he was alive. Everything's changed. Yeah. The actual basis of designation is different now. But there's some continuity. Yeah, due to causes and conditions. Yeah. So this is something very helpful to think about because it changes our whole way of perceiving somebody, and so it really it helps the grieving process. Yeah, 'cause you see, nothing there to start with. And then, of course, we have to apply it to ourselves. And we think, well, there's me, Okay, maybe he's not truly existent, but I am. And it's like, oh yeah, really? You think that same analysis doesn't apply to you? Check up. And then it's very good, for kind of dissolving a lot of this grasping and pride, that we get into, the pride of just being me, or what they call the conceit of I. Okay? Somebody's probably sitting there going, what is she doing? She's doing Majjhimika philosophy when her father died. What kind of person is this? Doesn't she feel anything? Why is she, doing philosophy, when her father died? Well, this is the purpose of the philosophy, to apply it to your life. It's not that you do Majjhimika philosophy kind of when everything's fine, and then, when your father dies, you just fall apart. Yeah. I mean, everything we're learning, we have to apply, quite directly to our lives. And it doesn't make you unfeeling, but it does give you more understanding. Okay.